Welcome to episode 3 of the... You mean that whole shindig?
Yeah.
You liked that word, didn't you?
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Duelist Discussion. It's October, the only month that matters, and I'm your host, Devin Casey. Joining me is my co-host, Richard. How's it going, Richard?
Pretty good. Ready to get episode 3 on the road.
Excellent. And joining us today is special guest and lore extraordinaire, Alex Heaton.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Starting from now on, we're going to have a special segment that involves Alex, the lore professional, going over one of the 9 heroes in the game in detail, short, sweet segment at the end of the show. So be sure to tune into that.
Yeah, because I'm the only one that read the book.
Basically.
Hey, I tried to read the books, okay?
Hey, if you ever get a chance, War of the Ancients. It's amazing.
Okay. Can you get that on an ebook?
I'm sure you can.
Oh, okay. Well, we got a bit of news. Like we talked about last week. There's the beta wipe, and following that was the patch that they implemented. In addition to some beta keys going out, as they're inviting more and more people out to play, with their addition of new hardware enabling them to host more games. So a bunch of emails were sent out to the North American and European regions as of October 4th. None over the weekend, this weekend. So if you didn't get any, sorry. Try again. There is a rumor going around that participating in the beta nets you a World of Warcraft mount, a Pegasus of a sort, for which Zarya from Blizzard has come on to kind of discount, saying we have not announced any details regarding this promotion yet. What do you guys think about that? You want a mount?
I would love a mount. I'm not like the type that buys all the mounts that, I bought one, but I mean, I'd be excited for a free mount. I can't deny that.
Yeah, I love mounts, but I don't see myself riding anything other than my favorite Tyrael's Charger.
Yeah, I like my dead. What is it? Headless Horseman's steed.
Yes.
Beautiful. As far as the patch goes, the main idea is just a whole bunch of bug fixes, as you might expect. The rogues, of course, got nerfed because they were too strong, and now perhaps they're maybe too low. You guys played rogues in WoW, right?
I played a lot of rogue. Rogue was my PvP main, so this is very, I'm used to this happening to rogues.
Yeah.
They're either really, really strong to where people complain, and then they get nerfed until they're useless. So
yeah,
this was expected.
The warriors and priests were buffed because they were doing kind of poorly. They've been given plenty of cards to help round out their skill set. I've heard a lot of good things about the priests now, particularly being that it's too high powered. Priests can generally heal. As far as healers go, Alex, you're a professional healer in Warcraft, aren't you, with the paladin?
I sure am.
How do you feel about going on against offensive players with a defensive class?
In terms of World of Warcraft, it doesn't work. Some people I've seen do it. I know back before Paladins got their that little thing that made them not be able to heal constantly back when Cataclysm first launched. I remember you could just keep on healing yourself over and over again. But as far as the card game, I'm not really sure. I don't really have any experience with that, so I can't really speak to the merits of defensive and offensive decks.
Do you think that that concept can translate into a card game in a fun way? Offensive versus defensive strategies? I just feel like if you're not playing offensively, you're losing.
Well, that's the thing is... I play Magic the Gathering, and you can have all sorts of different combinations. If Hearthstone's going to be any way like that, then there is any sort of way to win. Like, for instance, in MTG, there was a deck I used to use, which instead of being offensive, it more focused on defense and making either yourself or your enemy run out of cards.
Oh.
And it included a card that said, if you run out of cards, then instead of losing, you win. So I combined that with things that made me lose cards in my hand and discard things, and also added to that deck cards that made my opponent lose cards. So it was basically a deck that won by attrition.
I gotcha. There are tactics like that you can implement into Hearthstone, such as top decking and running other players out of their cards and fatiguing them. So I could see how that might work then.
Yeah, so if Hearthstone's anything like that, then there's going to be a ton of different ways you can go about building a deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also feel there's turtle decks where you defend yourself so well that they can do very little to no damage to you, and then you chip at them with very weak attacks until the point where they just lose because you defended yourself so well for so long that they just eventually die to your small attacks that you release every once in a while.
Yeah, that's how the priest used to be played up until they were given a few more cards. It was just kind of a waited out kind of deck. But as far as the rest of the patch goes, there are these golden cards, which are basically the equivalent to like Pokemon holographic cards. You know, they're just cosmetically superior, and that's about it. They got updated animations. Keep in mind, those gold cards yield more dust for crafting new cards. Speaking of crafting, the crafting UI has been updated to be more intuitive, so that should be fun. If you lose your connection in-game during a match, you automatically forfeit still. I don't know, I just feel like maybe a 5 or 10, maybe a minute might be an adequate amount of time to get your connection back before you lose the whole match. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. There should be a window, or maybe it should take into account your ping throughout the entire match, because if you had decent ping for the entire match and then all of a sudden you lose internet because, I don't know, maybe your power went out for a second or anything like an accident, you pull the plug by mistake and you lose the match, it's kind of not really fair, I guess. But
you lose the gold you spent. Like if you're in arena, there goes that gold, right?
Yeah, or real money that you spent for a chance in the arena.
Yeah,
that's even worse. So I think there should be a window.
But at the same time, I mean, okay, so if there's a small window like that, I know in my case, a lot of the time that I lose internet, it's because either my computer restarted or if I did lose internet, then it's not going to come back within a minute or so. It's going to take like 5 or 10. So, and they can't really ask the other player to wait that long. But if they don't include that, the whole forfeiting the match thing, then people are going to exploit that, no question. But yeah, I think if you give a minute or two at least, that's for things that aren't like those two cases I described earlier. If it's just a momentary thing, then yeah, definitely have a little bit of time to get back. But it'll just be something they'll have to play around with and get a feel for what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. At the very least, they could give us the amount of time that we have for our turn, right? Or however much you have left when you DC.
Yeah.
But no, they just straight up, you lose the match, and that's it. Gold better spent in arena. Gold is better spent in arena than on new card packs. So after you get back from patching up and you get all your gold back, it's better to put that towards arena because it's 100 gold per card pack, but 150 gold for an arena run, which guarantees a card pack and a shot at your 9 wins and some good prizes, some good competitive play. By far the best value. And arena combats the pay-to-win accusation. It's the single best answer to the argument because the arena decks, like we said, are random. I'm going to be playing plenty of arena. It's the consensus on the forums that it is by far the most interesting aspect of gameplay.
Sounds good to me.
BlizzCon's coming up November 8th and 9th. You can buy your tickets now, virtual tickets at least. We're going to be doing some special coverage. There's going to be a few perks for buying a ticket. You can see all of it. It takes place Friday and Saturday. All sorts of panels and events. And with buying a ticket, you get a few perks like the Hearthstone Mystery Minion card, which is a mystery, of course. No one really sure what that is going to be. Probably going to be the same card for everyone.
It's going to be Chris Metzen.
Chris Metzen. Sounds like a great card. What's its special ability?
It just screams for the Horde and runs away.
You get a lame StarCraft 2 banner and a boring Diablo 3. StarCraft 2 avatar and a boring Diablo 3 banner. And then a pretty neat World of Warcraft pet, a Murloc, that's based on Diablo's new Crusader class. Quick, Richard, what is a baby Murloc's noise? That was perfect. Let's see, the World of Warcraft movie is dated. Yes, movie is dated for a very specific time of December 2015. What do you think the movie is going to cover?
It's hard to say what I think it will cover. I can say what I hope it will cover, and I hope it covers the War of the Ancients, and I think it would confuse people who aren't into the lore.
Yeah, like general audiences, yeah.
Yeah, that's not what they know. They know what they see when they play World of Warcraft. So I don't know what I would want it. It's hard to put my finger on it. It's where the good starting point is, I guess. I know what I personally would want, but that wouldn't work for a lot of other people. Maybe
something that predates the actual World of Warcraft games, I imagine. Right, Alex?
Yeah, War of the Ancients would be a good thing to cover, although it kind of gets convoluted because there's three separate timelines with that war. There's one that was just how it happened with the Night Elves fighting the Burning Legion. Then there was another which was covered in the book where, I don't know if you know these characters, Ronan, who was the former head of the Kirin Tor, and Crassus, who was the consort to Queen of the Red Dragons, Alexstrasza. They got sent back in time through a temporal rift, and they participated in that war.
Yeah.
Then there's also the timeline that is in the Caverns of Time, I believe, where the players from the game go back in time and participate in the war. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for them to do a story based on that, just because of that, like, what timeline do they use? But I also feel like they wouldn't do that, just because a lot of the players would be lost, because, who reads quest text? So I think what'll end up happening is it's going to either be something related to what's going on right this second in Pandaria, possibly the Siege on Orgrimmar, or it's going to be whatever is going on at the time of December 2015, or, and this is the one that I think it's just going to be, is it's going to be a very neutral story that just happens outside of what's currently going on in the game, and possibly has original characters that aren't part of the lore, the established lore.
General orcs and humans, you think?
Yeah, because that's how it usually goes with these fantasy movie titles. It's a hard balance, because if you do anything that's too Horde side or too Alliance side, you'll risk alienating the other base, other player base. And also, if you get too into the lore of it, then you'll alienate people who aren't players of the game. And that's really what you want, because the people who play the game are going to come see the movie regardless. It's the people that don't play the game that are just kind of curious as to what Warcraft is that you want to go see it.
I agree. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the audience for this? Like fantasy lovers? Is it would you call this sci-fi fantasy or what?
It's fantasy. I mean, yeah, it has some kind of modern day technology like the motorcycles and the goblins and whatever, but at its core, it's a fantasy game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
I think that's the target audience. People who like superhero movies and maybe like older, like Lord of the Rings type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff that kind of just fantasy and sci-fi action. Maybe that crowd is who I think they're targeting with this.
You brought up a good point, Alex. That there's like motorcycles and stuff in it, but there's also horses and dragons. Like it's hard to put a good timestamp on this game, on this universe.
Yeah. Well, because it takes place separate outside of our established universe, and a lot of it's kind of unknown, but a lot of other RPG fantasy type games do this. Pathfinder, a game I play, one of the main classes. I mean, not basically they were added a little bit later after the initial core classes were released, but it's a gunslinger. Like they use guns to fight. There's a lot of I think they call it what is it, Chromio something, or
is it kind of like the Machina in Final Fantasy X?
Yeah,
gotcha.
like Chrono something or another. But basically, we have an idea of what we think medieval times are, but fantasy doesn't necessarily have to conform to that idea.
Yeah. Well, I can't recall who's directing this film. The Lord of the Rings director would be pretty good. Who's that?
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I would cry if Peter Jackson was on this project.
Honestly, though, I'd rather him do the Halo movie than.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not gonna get into it, but let's just say that Forward Unto Dawn was a fan-made film. Amazing. If you ever get a chance.
No, I think the director for Aragon should direct it. It's a joke.
No.
It's a joke.
Hey.
Better be.
That was an awful movie. I guess we can all agree.
Yeah, you almost lost a friend there.
Oh man. Well, you're gonna love me in a second because the deck builder is your way to build Hearthstone decks while you're not at home, away from your PC, away from your iPad. If you're at work or something and you want to goof off, like you do every day anyway, go to hearthstone.com/deckbuilder and you can tinker with all these different cards and classes and build your own deck so that you can plug that in when you get home and you can spend all night staying up playing Hearthstone like you usually do or you usually will, and continuing to be as unproductive as usual. Going into launching games, I wanted to get into the topic about games launching online, particularly what with GTA 5's online launch being absolutely mediocre. I haven't been able to play it until just recently. You guys haven't played GTA 5 online yet, have you?
I have. It's fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Richard, but
No, that's fine.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been trying to finish the story before I get into the multiplayer, but yeah, I mean it's really good.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried to play online because me personally, I'm not a huge GTA fan. Even though this game was amazing, I beat it. I haven't enjoyed a GTA game this much since Vice City was new. So, and I heard my friends and everybody else just like on the internet complaining about how rough the launch was for people couldn't get online and they kept getting kicked off the servers and stuff. So it was rough, but I think it's okay now.
Was it worse than the mandatory torture scene?
Oh god, it wasn't the worst. It depended on how you made it. It could have been completely terrible, but I did it in a way where you got the bonus objectives, so I got to experience all aspects of the horribleness. That's even a word.
Yeah, so far my online experience has been pretty good. I absolutely got just destroyed in the death match, but I picked up some bull shark testosterone, and then the tides quickly turned. Is that how that goes? I'm awful with sayings. But do you think Hearthstone, the launch of Hearthstone, is going to be kind of off? Do you think launch issues are inevitable?
I don't know. Blizzard has had their problem, like with Diablo 3. There was a lot of errors with that, and so it's not like be out of character for Blizzard to have some major launch issues, and I would hope not. I can't. I mean, from the way the beta's going, I would imagine there wouldn't be. And with the recent software update that they just did for themselves, I would hope that there wasn't any major, or there won't be any major issues for launch. But you can never tell with these things. So.
Yeah, they've had plenty of experience with their previous titles and trying to get games out there. And most of them have been kind of sketchy at best, but Pandaria was really good. I remember that one being pretty smooth.
Yeah, Pandaria's pretty. Cataclysm was a nightmare.
It was, wasn't it?
Patch 4.0 for Cataclysm was probably the worst experience ever in my WoW history. It's like people were like killing you with one skill at lower levels, and it was just madness.
Oh wow, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, rogues were killing. I remember people specifically re-rolling into rogue class, then naming the character. I one-shot you, will one-shot, and just going into Battlegrounds at level 10, using one skill and literally killing you with 100 to 0 because of they changed the way skills and talents worked. So the scaling was different, and for the lower levels, it was complete chaos.
Oh man, I don't remember any of that. It was a while ago. Let's hope Hearthstone's launch isn't as bad as that. It is going to be an online-only game, though, so it's kind of got that requirement. You got to be online, else you lose matches or you just can't simply play. But it's going to be free, so the audience for this game, the capacity for players is just phenomenal. All these players jumping in to play it on the PC, Mac, and iPad. Isn't it about time companies got the hang of this, though?
Yeah, you would imagine so, that they would be on top of this by now, but I don't know, maybe these issues, somehow they benefit from them, if you want to get into like some conspiracy type sounding stuff. Maybe in some way they benefit from all these issues.
I think they save more money right now because the whole issue is hardware. They're never going to have the same demand on their servers usually as they will on day one, when every single person that wants to play it is going to be trying to play it all at the same time. And as time progresses, that's going to be kind of spread out a lot better and smooth and even out. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense for them cost-wise, I think, is if they throw a bunch of money at fixing the problem now when, after the initial wave of players kind of settles down and it's all spread out and, people sleep while others play and so on.
Exactly.
They're going to have way too much juice, for the player demand. It's just not going to make much sense after this initial rush. But I have confidence that Blizzard's going to get Hearthstone out pretty well. They're obviously taking their time with it, being very careful with the beta. I'm not too worried about it, but I do think that other companies should learn lessons from Blizzard, and they should try to do more to simulate an environment where this demand is going to be more evident and they can get the hang of it, because they pissed a lot of players off.
Yeah.
So, you want to do some quick fire questions? I got a few.
Yeah, that sounds good. I can divvy them up between you two.
All right, I'll go first. How much would you pay for a beta key?
I don't think I'd pay anything. I don't think it'd be worth it to me.
You're gonna wait?
Yeah.
You don't want to go like on eBay and pay like $2,000?
Hell no.
What about you, Rashard? What would you pay?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I think I would wait. I would rather wait than have to pay for it. Even though I'm super excited to play this game, I feel like it would be it's so close to being released that it wouldn't even be worth it.
Good call.
Okay. Who farted?
The Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
Oh man.
That works. What are the two biggest differences between Jaina Proudmoore and Anduin Wren?
Oh god. Not many.
This is not a boob joke. It might be.
I'm not entirely sure that Anduin does not come equipped with a pair of breasts. So.
Okay. Fair enough. That was cheap, I know.
What time is it?
Dude, I don't...
Time to rock.
It's time to duel!
Good Yu-Gi-Oh reference. I like that.
Yeah, card game, it's relevant.
I'm sorry, but we were looking for hammer time.
Oh.
Hammer time. It's always hammer time.
You don't want the duel.
Oh god, one of the best theme songs ever.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's see. You go to the Mexican restaurant, right? Do you prefer white queso or yellow queso?
There's yellow queso.
Oh yeah, totally. Wait, you can buy it at the store.
There's yellow queso?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what it is. It's yellow.
I think there's your answer right there.
Yeah, I'm
For
gonna
both
go
of
with
us.
white queso. Somebody gave me some yellow queso at a restaurant, and I'd be like, so where's the door again? Yeah.
It's like cheese flavored queso. That's all I know.
I know there's the queso that you can buy in those jars for like chips and dip. It is yellow, but I don't know if that's like what people would say real queso.
Come on, that counts.
I guess.
I mean, do you call Taco Bell Mexican food?
No way.
I guess that explains everything. I certainly don't. Not me. So you got another one for me?
What is your favorite game of all time?
Ah, good question. Good question. My favorite game of all time has got to be... Alex probably knows this one. Shadow of the Colossus.
I freaking knew it.
Same answer.
Oh, that is great. It's just hands down best game. Anytime I hear anything bad about it, I do the whole Jackie Chan mind blown face. I don't understand.
Because there is nothing bad about it.
No.
The things you do for love, darling.
Uh-oh. I don't know. It's everything about it's great. I can't think of a single thing about it other than how frustrating the challenge mode, the hard mode time trials are. But then again, it's worth it because you get like a parachute. You probably didn't know you got a parachute, did you?
I actually have never played the game.
Oh,
Don't shoot me. I've never played it.
oh, I'm sorry. Richard won't be joining us next week due to technical difficulties.
Richard.
Oh, Shard died. I'm sorry. Crap.
I don't know. It's just the first game of its kind to come along and be like, hey, here's 16 huge giants. You kill all 16 of these, and you'll collect their soul or whatever for one basically spiritual mob boss, and in return, he'll bring your love back to life. And then you get to do every single bit of that. You get to climb on them and stab them, and it's just wonderful. What do you like about it, Alex?
It's just the tone, everything about it really is beautiful and amazing.
And the music, oh man.
Why didn't you tell me this game was so amazing, Devin?
Go look it up. You do a let's play on it. I'll support it.
Wait. I'll try to arrange that for you guys.
That would be great. What about you, Richard? What's your favorite game of all time?
I don't have. For me. I can't have a favorite game. It's more of a favorite series. My favorite series would be Metal Gear Solid series.
Oh, good one. What's your favorite title from that series?
I want to say Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater will probably be my favorite one. I had enjoyed the soundtrack the most in that one. The story had the most favored progression in that one. A lot of questions were answered, characters explained, and beautiful artwork. It was just executed perfectly, in my opinion. I love the game to death.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed calling the medic or whoever on the codec and asking if it was okay to eat a snake or whatever I had picked up.
Yeah, she got pretty frustrated. It was hilarious. What do you mean? Just eat it.
It's called Snake Eater for a reason.
Yeah.
But let's wrap this up. Where can folks contact you guys at?
You can find me on Twitter at ExodusRB. I'm also on YouTube, as we've mentioned in this episode a couple times. My channel name is Richard Zone. You can check me out. I do Let's Plays. I'm going to have some stuff on there for when I get a beta invite, if I get a beta invite. Some Hearthstone gameplay on there and a bunch of other stuff. Just different stuff, entertaining. And you can also find me on Facebook on our / Duelist Discussion. And also on iTunes, you can find us as a channel or as a podcast. I mean,
yeah, please rate and review us. What about you, Alex?
All right, you can find me at James Alex Heaton. That's Heaton. You can also find my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/CrusaderWellora. That's WELORA. You can also find me on Facebook at my other podcast's Facebook page. That's facebook.com/BearHugProductions. And at our full website, that's www.BearHugProductions.
Sounds great. Be sure to check out the Duelist Discussion site at duelistdiscussion.squarespace.com and send your questions, comments, concerns, whatever, at to duelistdiscussion@gmail.com. Thank you guys for joining me, and stay tuned for the lore segment after the show. We'll see you everyone later.
Take it easy.
Sweet.
Hello, and welcome to your segment for lore. Today we're going to talk about Hearthstone's druid, Malfurion Stormrage. Now, Malfurion Stormrage is perhaps the most famous druid of all time. He was also the first night elf to follow the druidic path. Around 10,000 years before the beginning of the first Warcraft game, there was a great war between the Night Elves and the Burning Legion, which was an army of demons led by the evil god Sargeras, which threatened to destroy Azeroth. This battle was called the War of the Ancients and was the war to end all wars. Now that's saying something for a game called Warcraft. Now this wasn't just the Night Elf army fighting off an invasion. This was the entirety of the Night Elf race fighting a seemingly infinite supply of demons, where the battlefield spanned miles and lasted for months straight. This War of the Ancients was a turning point for many characters known in Warcraft lore. Malfurion's brother, Illidan Stormrage, was in love with Tyrande Whisperwind, who was in love with Malfurion. In a bid to win her heart from his brother by winning the war, Illidan accepted demonic powers offered to him by the Burning Legion, who hoped to use him as a weapon but were ultimately betrayed. Malfurion, Tyrande, Illidan, and 3 other warriors who were from our present time in Warcraft infiltrated a certain dragon's lair and stole the dragon's soul, a weapon capable of killing thousands of dragons at once, and turned it against the Burning Legion. They were driven back into the abyss, and the Night Elves lost the Well of Eternity as a result, which was their link to magical ability. This loss, coupled with Malfurion's display of druidic ability and the consequences that magic had on the world to begin with, most likely led to the spread of druidism among the race. This battle has marked Malfurion as the most important, if not strongest, druid of all time. He continues to be active today and was most notable during the Cataclysm.